Yesterday, Liverpool weren't the only team to break a transfer record. While Alexander Isak officially became the most expensive player in British football history, Chelsea set a record for the most generated in player sales with over £300 million. In today's news, we look at all the transfers you might have missed yesterday, give out awards for the summer transfer window like most surprising move and most underrated, as well as cover how Xavi could become the Leverkusen manager if he wanted, which is exactly where we're going to start. I mean, Leverkusen is just 2 matches into their campaign and also broke a record in the Bundesliga. 1 year ago, it was becoming the first team to win the league going undefeated, and now it's the quickest firing ever. I thought Ten Hag was about to get his career back on track there, and I even put some of their moves this summer in the summer transfer awards. But I guess losing their league opener at home and then going on to draw their next match 3-3 when they were up 3-1 to a team with a red card in the 63rd minute was enough. Losing 5-1 to Flamengo's youth team in preseason probably also didn't help. Ten Hag put out a statement with words like, "To part ways with a coach after just 2 league matches is unprecedented." This summer, many key players who were part of past successes left the squad. Building a new cohesive team is a careful process that requires both time and trust. Fortunately, the management was not willing to grant me the time and trust I needed, which I deeply regret. Former Barca manager Xavi is Leverkusen's dream target, and apparently they've reached out to him twice now, but he's rejected it, not wanting to go back to football, so it looks like Terzic has become the leading candidate. I just hope Echeverri gets minutes because I nominated him for most exciting transfer. Before we get into the awards though, let's review all the transfers you might have missed yesterday. Jadon Sancho moved to Aston Villa, Ederson joined Fenerbahce, Manchester City signed Donnarumma as his replacement, Zinchenko moved to Forest on loan, Quibano also joined Forest. They also signed Bakwa for €35 million, bringing their total spend to €236 million. Kevin joined Fulham for €40 million. They also signed Chukwueze on loan. The move for Raheem Sterling fell through, so he's still at Chelsea on £300,000 a week, the most in the whole squad. Chelsea did manage to offload Ben Chilwell to Strasbourg. Girona signed Brian Hill from Tottenham. Brian Brobby joined Sunderland for €20 million. They also signed Bertrand Traore from Ajax. Igor ended up choosing West Ham instead of Crystal Palace, which is why the Mark Gahey deal to Liverpool fell through. After officially selling Alexander Isak to Liverpool, Newcastle finally signed Wissa. Amrabat joined Real Betis on loan. He didn't get the same greeting as Antony though, who also signed for the club for €25 million plus a 50% sell-on clause. Emi Martinez didn't get his move to United. Instead, they signed Lemons for €21 million. In the end, Nicholas Jackson got his move to Bayern. It's a loan with an obligation to buy for big money. Harvey Elliott also left on a loan plus option to buy to Aston Villa. Monaco sold Mbolo to Rennes for €13 million, and that's because RB Leipzig stole Conrad Harder from them. Tottenham signed Kolo Muani on loan from PSG. Brighton sold Lamptey to Fiorentina. Bournemouth signed an 18-year-old center-back talent. Arsenal let Kiviar go out on loan to FC Porto because they've brought in Hincapie on loan. Fabio Vieira was also loaned out to Hamburg, while Lokonga also joined the club on a permanent deal. Reece Nelson joined Brentford on loan. Alexis Sanchez joined Sevilla on a free transfer, while Ian Nacho was released by the club. Hamari Traore joined Paris FC, while Ikone also joined the club. Otsen Edouard left Palace for Lens. Uche was brought in to replace him. JD Canvo also joined Palace from Toulouse for €23 million. Zaniolo left Turkey to join Udinese. Barcelona loaned Hector Ford to Elche. Carlos Soler returned to La Liga for €6 million. Benfica's Florentino joined Burnley. Napoli signed Højlund on loan with an option to buy. Havard left Inter to join Marseille. Manor Solomon joined Villarreal on loan. Luis Apenda joined Juve on loan with an option to buy for around €40 million. And then Zagrova also joined the club for around $20 million. That is one of the 3 transfers I nominated for most underrated transfer. I also said Dan Ndoye to Nottingham Forest. I think he's a great player. And then Olivier Giroud joining Lille for free. He's already scored 2 goals. This is an interesting one. The most surprising move, I feel like there was a lot this year. I said Xavi Simons to Tottenham and then Voltemata to Newcastle. As for the ones I'm most excited for, as I mentioned earlier, Echeverri, I also said Mohamed Kudus. I think Thomas Frank will be a very interesting manager for him and develop him really well. You see Mbemo, you see Wissa. All he needs to do is score more, and they did a lot of that at Brentford. I also said Antony at Betis. I mean, come on, for obvious reasons. And then Ansu Fati at Monaco. I think we all kind of forgot about him. I listed 4 players for the best transfer of the summer. The first one is Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid. I also said Jack Grealish to Everton. I also said Mosquera to Arsenal. That was such a cheap transfer. And then similarly, Joan Garcia to Barcelona, just €25 million. The best sales were Brentford selling Wissa to Newcastle for over £50 million. He's 29 years old. Retegui moving to Saudi Arabia for nearly €70 million also came to mind. Unsurprisingly, the team with the best window for me has to be Liverpool. Even if they spent a ton of money, you still have to convince all those players to join the club, and they also had to negotiate all those sales. So anyways, that's the news, and tomorrow we get to talk about international football.